What time's kickoff?
Kickoff there is it's going to be 12:30 local, so it's the old 3:30
Oh, okay.
ABC. Is
Okay.
that nap time for you?
I don't know anymore. There are three of them. Everybody's napping at one point during the day. Steve, I want to kiss you on your mouth because here's how it went down. Chris is on a river, okay, at time of tape. He's on a river. And he said, the Friday show is yours. I said, great, I'll chop it up with Steve for an hour. Yeah. Bingo, bango. That's a podcast. Then late Wednesday, he says, no Steve and no me. He was thinking maybe he could get back, maybe not. So solo Macon on a Friday for 90 to 120 is nobody's idea of a good time.
Weird there.
So I texted Steve late yesterday. I'm like, hey, man, any time of day Thursday, can you give me 30 minutes? And he came through. The big guy came through with your schedule, with your celebrity. You come through for our audience, and I appreciate it very much, and I love you very much, and we're going to talk some ball.
I'm here for you, buddy. You know that.
Hey, man, last week, where does Oklahoma, Texas State Fair start to rank on these annual college football rivalries? The neutral site games, you have Army-Navy. Going to be hard to pick against Army-Navy.
Mm-hmm.
Florida, Georgia, and Jacksonville. But this was the first year I felt like, oh, the Texas State Fair is rolling.
It's something to see, Macon. I'll be honest. I thought the State Fair would be bigger. You know, like when I walk in, because, you know, like they got us in these side entrances and we got an office set up in a building outside the fair. And when we start walking around, I'm like, oh, okay. So it's like this row of games and then this row of food. But then you see big techs, and then you're just like, holy moly, we're on the opposite side of everything. But the game is just absolutely tremendous. 50-50 split, not a sweet in the Cotton Bowl. Like I don't want to say it's dumpy, but it's just old. But I thought the surface was pristine. And then, you get an interception, you get a fake punt, you get a punt block all in the first quarter. And it's just, no matter what happens, the place is rocking because it's 50-50. So that's what was really, really cool about it. And, obviously no one likes each other in that game. It's just amazing to me for the love non-Texas people have for doing horns down. Like it's amazing to me how much they love it. And like, I get it. It's, Texas people don't like it, but good Lord, those people love giving the horns down. And obviously with the outcome of the game and the back and forth nature, you saw plenty of it. But I was blown away by the experience. The game was incredible. The momentum swings, and how both teams were able to, bounce back. Oklahoma blows a 10-point lead and then hasn't done anything offensively and goes right down to score a game-winning touchdown. So I'm blown away, exceeded expectations, and I cannot wait for this game up in Seattle. Just being a Pac-12 guy, like, I know the hatred between these two schools, and they've never met as top 10 teams like that. It's just everything you want in a rivalry of pure hatred we have in this coming week too.
Oregon's at Washington. Huskies favored by 3 points. Steve's about to get on a plane to head west. What's your move in the hotel room? Is the first move to the thermostat to get it at a 63 or 64? Is it the long shower? Is it a room service? Take us through the Stanford Steve hotel process.
We like it 65, 66. That's what our room's at. To give us that brisk feeling. We're gonna have a 3 a.m. wake up call Saturday, so you can't be comfortable. You can't be too comfortable. So it's just great. It's a great setting. We got some plans for some purple lights and And, it's going to be pitch black for the start of the show, which is awesome, but they'll come out. And that's why I'm fired up for our show staff. Like, game day's been there, but they haven't been there when the fan base has been this invested. And they're absolutely rolling right now with the board taking over last year and the rise with Penix. Like, Washington, when it's good, it's as good as it gets as a setting in a game day atmosphere. So that's why I'm fired up for our show staff to get there. But hotel, we'll go. Got some couple friends to see, a couple old college buddies that live up in the area. I'm fired up to see them. But, I can't wait to get out there. I love Seattle. And everything it brings to the table. So we're really, really looking forward to this trip. Had this one circled, and with the way the college football slate matches up, you hope and you wish that those teams will be undefeated and we could get out there. And sure enough, they all took care of business. So good to see and fired up for Seattle.
Yeah, we're not in Durham anymore. I should also mention that Steve is doing this before the sun has even come up on the East Coast on Thursday morning. I mean, This is the earliest a podcast has ever been recorded. People on the West Coast are still sleeping. Mm-hmm. And Steve's you're doing this every day. You got midnight sports centers. You got early wake-up calls with game day. Your work ethic is motivation, Steve.
I thank you. I just wish I could get more winners on the fridge for the people for game day. But
hey, I've gone back
how that goes
and combed through the college football talk, and you give out consistent winners when we're talking ball. You suck at the NFL locks.
I'm not gonna lie. I have my NFL knowledge has taken a little bit of a hit with this college schedule. But I feel like I didn't go 2-1 last week. I thought I went 2-1.
You're up to 6-9. I think that does mean you went 2-1.
Yeah,
you went 2-1. First, is this right? Could this be right? First Pac-12 matchup of teams 5-0 or better since 2004 when USC got Arizona State 45-7. For comparison's sake, that's happened 15 times in the SEC since 2004. But how do you see it shaking out? Washington is the field goal favorite.
Yeah, like I've said, both teams have played, taking care of business. And when I look at the resume, I just feel like Washington's is a little bit more sustainable. Getting road wins at Arizona, getting a road win at East Lansing. Those teams aren't great, but still going and doing that. And when I watch Oregon on tape, I'm not sure about their offensive line. Like, there's no Kyle Longs out there. There's no Penei Sewells. Like, I'm really interested to see how they go on the road and travel. So that's why I like Washington in the game. And when you look at Oregon, they're not taking crazy shots down the field. It's a methodical, they use tempo to change things up. They have playmakers, but they don't have that downfield attack style. So I feel like with the crowd noise and the activity of Washington's defense, that's going to cause problems for an Oregon offense that hasn't seen anything like this so far, playing against Stanford and Colorado and Hawaii. That's why I like Washington, and I'll lay to 3 points with them.
Are you going to be there for the game? Are you sticking?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What time's kickoff?
Kickoff there is it's going to be 12:30 local. So it's the old 3:30
okay.
ABC.
Okay.
Is that nap time for you?
I don't know anymore. There are three of them. Everybody's napping at one point during the day, except never me. It's just never me.
You got to sleep when the kids are sleeping. That's the first rule of fatherhood.
But the nap times are staggered. Like,
hey, that's your job to unstagger them.
Yeah, I don't.
All right, come on.
I don't call
the
shots.
Put your foot down. Be a mean guy once in a while. You got it in you.
I don't. I really don't. UCLA's at Oregon State. Let's stick in the Pac-12.
Yeah.
Beavers 15-1 over the past 2+ seasons. 3.5-point favorites. Totals 54.5. Bruins coming in. 8:00 kick in this one. What are we looking out for?
This place will be jazzed up for this game. No doubt about it. This was my pick for the Pac-12 title game. This game. So when I look at it, UCLA's gone to Utah and not look good. Dante Moore's a true freshman quarterback that, Chip started in that game and didn't take out. He was brutal. Pick six first play of the game, and they lose 14-7. Wasn't great last week in an upset win against Wazoo, but that's because of their defense. Their defense has been lights out. and a first-year defensive coordinator. So I look at a defense that's going to travel to Corvallis against a team in Oregon State that their defense has not played well. They got rolled at Wazoo. They gave up 40 to Cal. And when I look at UCLA, they'll do a bunch of the things that Cal did offensively to frustrate Oregon State. Whether it's, motion, whether it's motion then shift then motion, tempo, and running the football. UCLA loves to run the football. Carson Steele, I think, had 30 or 40 carries last week for $130. That also helps your defense. So I think it's a really tight game. I do think it's a field goal game, so I would take UCLA plus the points. And I will say this: if UCLA wins this game, watch out, because they don't have to play Washington or Oregon. And that could be a nice road to Las Vegas for the Pac-12 title game if they could pull this one off.
Pac-12, listen to these ranked teams: 7, 8, 10, 15, 16, 18, 19, all in the Pac-12 in the final year here of the Pac-12. One of those teams is USC. They're at Notre Dame. Notre Dame's laying 2.5, total 60.5. The 94th meeting between the two.
Mm-hmm.
Notre Dame, man, it's tough when you're on the Irish, I think, generally for some reason. Why is it not clicking? It was a hard watch last week.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty. Marcus Freeman in the lines of, some questionable coaching decisions, going for it on fourth down with eight and change, 2-score game. I didn't understand that decision. And when I look at Notre Dame, this is a month in a row now where they've had a lot of eyeballs on them, and I get they get a lot of attention anyway. But the 2 road games after the heartbreaking loss to Ohio State, and now you come back for SC. Caleb Williams is going to play well. Branch, the freshman receiver, it sounds like he's going to be able to play. He's the ultimate difference maker. They don't have a guy that can, the way they move him around, that's going to be a problem for Notre Dame. But if Notre Dame's offensive line says they're as good as, or is as good as they say they are, they win this game. SC's defense has been atrocious, and Notre Dame should score. They should be able to run the ball. They should be able to play a little keep away from Caleb Williams. So I don't love it, but I do like Notre Dame's secondary, and I would take Notre Dame minus the couple points at home. I expect a great atmosphere in South Bend.
And you watch the Louisville game. I mean, what's the Louisville phenomenon? Is it the new coach bump? Do they have talent? I mean,
Brahms
they were better
an
the team.
assassin of a play caller, man. Like he plays to his strengths. I think you get to see a Notre Dame team play big time teams, and then it's these guys are all stealing and taking stuff from other teams that have had success. Like Brahms, the ultimate. That foot is always on the gas when he's calling plays. So I think it's a credit to him. They had a lot of changes. He said before the season it was important for them to win right away, and their goal was to be undefeated for that Notre Dame game, and they were. And now they're in the driver's seat. They have we have a chance, I believe, to have 3 undefeated ACC teams in the first year with no divisions. So that's very interesting going forward. They don't play Florida State or Clemson, but they, if they take care of business, they'll get them in the ACC title game. So I love what Jeff Brom's done. I thought he waited it out perfectly. I thought he brought Purdue to the peak of what Purdue could be. That's a spot in the Big Ten title game. Like with these schools coming in, that's not happening anymore. So good on him to go back to the alma mater and take care of business. So it's been really impressive. But I always thought the world of Brom as a play caller.
Speaking of the ACC, Miami's at UNC. I haven't wanted to talk to you about a game more than Miami and Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
And Coach Cristobal, Lebitard had the take that it was the worst loss in program history.
Uh-huh.
He mentioned the 48-0 loss to close out the Orange Bowl to Virginia. He mentioned FIU, a couple national title losses.
Mm-hmm.
But, man, the guy doesn't like victory formation.
No.
I mean, yeah, I get it. You can't give up 75 yards in 2 plays. You also can't fumble the football. But do you think there's somebody in his ear being like, hey, it's a knee and we're out of here? It's not like he had to add up 40 seconds 3 or 4 times. You just had to take a knee.
No, and Hasselbeck was all over it. Tim Hasselbeck did a great job, one of the best analysts we have calling games, and he was way ahead of it. If they took the delayed knee on first down. They don't have that problem. But you go back and talking to people, the A&M game, they're up 2 scores. They stop A&M. I think it's 44-31. They turn over on downs, I think, on the 5-yard line. So they're on their own 5-yard line. Take a knee and get out of there. They're still running plays. You go back to Oregon, Stanford, and there's no business. There's no reason to be running plays. He does it there. So as bad as it was, I still look at them as capable of going to Chapel Hill and winning. The problem is I've taken the other side of Carolina against the spread, I think, in like 3 weeks, and it has not gone right. So I'm not doing it again. But I don't love Carolina given the points, but I'll take it here just because I'm tired of going against them, and I love what they're doing. I mean, how don't you like Drake May and what he's done? And now with Tez back, like they tried to get him involved early. May overthrew him for a touchdown that you saw what he was really bummed about. But it feels like that offense is really clicking. The problem is, if not now, when for North Carolina? Like, enough is enough. You have to win this game.
5-0 for the first time since '97. They're 3.5-point favorites. We've talked about a few of these quarterbacks. How do you sort them out if you're an NFL GM? Caleb Williams, Drake May, you got Penix. If you're starting a franchise, I assume Caleb Williams is the consensus at this point, but how do you shake out the others now that we've seen 5 or 6 games this season?
I saw Pete Thamel said there's going to be 34 scouts. There's not even 34 teams in the NFL at Seattle for Penix and Bo Nix. Those are 2 wild cards. I honestly believe Shedeur Sanders has improved so much that he could be in the top 3. Or he could be the 3rd, I would say. Caleb and Drake are in their own tier, in my opinion. When you start looking at the next level, Penix, I'm not sure teams love, the lefty idea and that whole thing, but God, he's been so accurate. And his yards per attempt is way up there in the country. You don't see that, a completion percentage that high with a guy that throws the ball as deep as he does, as many times as he does. So I think it's a big spot for Bo Nix and Penix right here, playing capable teams and defenses. But I would I put Shedeur there 3rd right now. I really would. I just love his composure, his demeanor in the moment. That's what's been very impressive, because I'll be honest, I didn't catch a lot of Jackson State games last year, and I'm worried sick for Stanford Friday night. I think they're in a tough spot with Colorado coming back home and knowing that place, how good it could be for a Friday night game. I expect Colorado to put up a big number Friday night.
Are you worried about 1-4 Stanford, 0-3 in the conference? Looks like a minus 77 point differential. We've buried the lead, Steve. How about them Wahoos, huh?
Oh, I was gonna. They might be part of the awards.
I love it.
So I didn't want to bring them up yet. I want to give them their proper due.
Okay. Well, a teaser there. Virginia's on the board in it, and they might not be done.
There we go.
Is all I'm
friend.
saying. Yeah, our buddy. Virginia lost to Tennessee this year. The Vols are coming off a bye.
Mm-hmm.
They have A&M at home. They're 3.5-point favorites. A lot of 3.5-point lines this week.
It's. I don't like any of the SEC games. Florida, South Carolina, I think is 2. Kentucky, Missouri's 2. They both got, brutal losses last week in a spot where they could have taken that next step against the top names in the conference. So when you look at A&M, the one thing I believe will happen is A&M could slow down Tennessee's run game, and that puts pressure on Milton. And I have not seen it with Milton. The consistency of being accurate is not there, and I don't love it at all. I love A&M's receivers, but the problem is getting the ball to them, and that hasn't happened enough for my liking. So I don't love it at all, but I would take the 3.5 with Aggies, thinking their defense will play well.
How does the SEC shake out at the end? I mean,
it's done.
It's Georgia and Bama? We're gonna run that back? Okay,
yeah, it's done.
Okay.
Yep.
Ole Miss, generally, they're off this week. They had the awesome win against LSU. They got by Arkansas. Is this just always going to be 8-4, 9-3 under Lane? They're just going to be rock solid, but not quite there competing for the conference?
That's the feeling I get. The idea, what's the most prized thing in the portal is quarterback and offensive lineman, and Ole Miss is just not there. When you have to go against the likes of Alabama and, LSU hasn't played well on the defensive line of scrimmage, but when you're going against the teams like A&M, you need multiple guys, and they just don't have them. So when you get into the thick of the SEC, that's when you get, clipped off. I am really interested when they go to Athens to play Georgia, what they'll look like in an environment. We saw Georgia swallow Kentucky. Ole Miss is light years ahead of Kentucky offensively. So can they score on them? Can they make things uncomfortable and turn it in, to a shootout? That's what I'm interested to seeing. But I don't see any difference in this Ole Miss team as I have in years past.
AP poll and coaches poll look the same at the top: Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, Florida State. Is that how you have it? Do you not care on October the 13th?
I really don't care right now, Macon, but I will say, how do you justify your rankings of Florida State, Oklahoma, Penn State, Washington, Oregon? Like those, that 4 to 8. Because you got Florida State with 2 really good wins. You got Oklahoma with maybe the best win. You got Penn State with probably the most dominant performances. And then you got Washington and Oregon, chucking it around Saturday to stay claim as the best team in the conference. So that's where it is. That I think you got to wait and see on the resume. I would not have Ohio State ahead of Florida State. That's one thing's for sure. Now, they got Penn State next week. Obviously, the game at the end of the year with Michigan. Like their resume is only going to improve, whereas Florida State's might feel stale, knowing that they don't play many of the big teams down the stretch here. So that's what's interesting to me is what Florida State's done already. I think they deserve to be the third ranked team.
I know Oklahoma comes back and gets the win. Do you think Oklahoma's the better team than Texas? Do you think we'll see Oklahoma and Texas again?
If we don't see Oklahoma, Texas again, I'll be shocked. Texas loses the turnover battle 3-0. You got just the momentum swings again. I don't think Gabriel will run like he did for as many yards if they played a second time. So I think that's a heavyweight clash that's due for a rematch, and we'll get at Jerry World at the end of the year for the Big 12 title game.
All right, it says here on the piece of paper that we do a Pac-12 lock, an upset special,
Colorado,
and the STL Memorial non-Power 5 game of the week. I must not be listening when you come on the show.
Yeah, I don't think you are. I think you're concentrating on your locks.
You're
Pac-12 lock is Colorado.
What's
upset.
That number? Let me find that number for the folks.
It's 10.5.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's.
It does seem pretty lock-worthy.
Yes, I would look at Arizona as an upset possibility. They, went the distance with SC, played well against Washington 2 weeks ago. They've won both these games without their starting quarterback. I believe Delores should be back pretty soon. So I look at it as Arizona there, and great matchups in the Sun Belt. I look at Georgia Southern as a capable team to possibly knock off James Madison.
Okay. Arizona is at Wazoo. Wazoo, 8-point favorite.
Yes.
Coming off the loss. Okay. Fun Belt. It'd be nice to knock JMU. Hey, I know you're about to get to it because we're about to get to Chang, Coughlin, Isaiah Simmons.
Yeah.
Look, I think Virginia's undeniably a top 7 team in the state of Virginia at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Virginia could compete for an FCS national title. If you disagree with that, you're on the wrong show. I don't know where Virginia's coming up in these awards, but let's knock them out. Take it away.
All right. First off, Timmy Chang Award goes to UAB quarterback Jacob Zeno.
Okay.
UAB scored 56 points in a win over South Florida. Zeno goes 19 of 25, 353, 4 tuds. So watch out. The Blazers, the Zers, under Coach Dilfer, look like they have things rolling here. Big spot when they go to UTSA this week. And the Coughlin Award winner goes to a freshman from, help me with this maybe, Tappahannock, Virginia.
You got it.
All
yeah.
right. Cameron Robinson, 12 tackles. Looks
Good player.
awesome in a single digit. Number 5. Double-digit tackles in 2 of the last 3 games. So it looks like we got a player there in Charlottesville, Mr. Cameron Robinson. He is your Coughlin Award winner. Wahoo's on a bye week here, and then they got Carolina.
Yeah.
Big spot.
This is what stinks a little bit.
Okay.
I know Big Cat said yesterday that ratings are all the way up in college football, and we're paying more attention in the age of the portal. I see a guy like Cam Robinson who's out there balling, and it's like, awesome. Where's he headed?
Yeah.
Doesn't that part stink?
Yeah, it does.
Especially when you
you
don't have the collective machine rolling yet in Charlottesville.
No, it's just like, I watched in Liberty the other night, undefeated. Jamie Chadwell there doing a great job, and Hugh Freeze goes there, gets his image back to a liking, gone. First, chance to get at a big job. Liberty, what can they do to keep a coach? I get it. They got deep pockets, but you're going to be that stepping stone program. I don't understand how you keep a guy there that's getting to his magnitude. It's been awesome what he's done. He did it at Coastal. That's another step block, and Liberty. So the portal, you bring it up, but also these programs too that know they're up against it when it comes to the big boys.
Yeah. Fintrell Cypress, corner from UVA, went to FSU last offseason. I feel like Liberty might be on the precipice of becoming a BYU East. I really hope not.
Where's that, Lynchburg?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lynchburg, Virginia.
Is that where the river goes that Chris is on?
Chris is on the Delaware River.
Oh.
Chris is probably closer to you as we speak than he is to the Greenlight Studios.
Oh, he's coming this way. Okay.
He was very secretive about it all. He wanted a placid body of water, and he sure got it because that thing's not moving. I mean, he is paddling like there's no tomorrow.
Are you going to go out and see him or no?
No.
And you're working. You're there for the show.
Yeah.
Holding it down. Somebody's got to do the show, right? So you got guys out joyriding out there.
I learned today, and I'm sure we'll talk about it at other points in the show, that to set this world record, you got to get to 40 miles. You can do it within 30 days.
Oh.
Like he got off the river and slept last night. Like, I thought he had to do a continuous thing. Like, is that not I'm going to get in trouble. Is that not the easiest world record to break in the whole world? You can float down a river in a pumpkin.
I think it's a genius move by him.
2 miles a day for 30 days. He got the world record. But more power to him. It looks quite uncomfortable.
Find a long river too.
And you got to find a long river. Have you watched the social clips?
Absolutely. I
mean, it's an impressive feat.
His posture is amazing.
He's got to be hurting so much.
Yeah, he won't. You ain't gonna ever.
I mean, he talks about his tight hips. I think he's on his knees in there.
Oh,
and he was in there
mush?
in the mush. Yeah. He does have his phone.
I just think about how gross your like my kids, carve pumpkins, how nasty the garbage is, and he's just in it for 40 miles.
He's wearing it. Now, speaking of the sailor, he has submitted his 3 NFL locks. Yeah. And it must not be that difficult to float down a river if he's making NFL picks. You and I need to talk this through. Do we give him his 3 picks and take him off the board for us?
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, they're all totals.
Okay.
Or do we weave them in, and if we nab one of his picks, then there's going to be a producer pick? I'm comfortable giving him just clearing the runway for him.
Yeah, give him all this. He's in a pumpkin.
Okay.
Give him his totals.
Okay. I'll give it to you in a second. First, I'll say that Chris, the leader in the clubhouse, is 8-6-1.
Okay.
After missing on the Vikings, missing on the Texans, and he got the Jets +3 last week. I'm in second at 7-8. Patriots, that was a miss. I missed on the Patriots. They lost 34-0. Got the Falcons head-to-head against Chris with the Texans, and I missed Monday night with the Packers. I look like 2 pretty lousy teams. Where are we on Jordan Love, Steve? Yay or nay?
Can we wait? Can we wait and see him play? I mean, everybody just wants to jump. Like, same thing with the Bears. You know, they're 0-3. Big deal. What do you think? They were going to be 3-0?
I thought they were going to win the North, yeah.
It's not over.
I thought they were going to be really good.
It's a long season.
8 TDs, 1 pick. Justin Fields, last 2 weeks. And Steve at 6-9, very nice.
Yeah.
You got Eagles -4. That looked dicey there for a little while. Niners -4, not so dicey. And then you, I assume you missed on Titans. Titans 2.5.
Yeah.
Okie doke, drum roll. C-Long has Ravens Titans under.
Shocker.
In London. Saints Texans under. Niners Browns under. Those are Chris's 3 locks for NFL week, whatever the hell it is. 6, 5, 6. Okay. Steve, you're next up.
I'm riding the Niners. I'm also going to guess that Dorian Thompson-Robinson plays again. So give me the Niners. I talk about rookies in a tough spot. He can't against that defense. I will take the Niners -7.
I missed this, but there's talk that it's going to be P.J. Walker if it's not Deshaun. But either way.
Yeah. That my case is closed there.
That's a good pick. Do you fear at all the letdown after a Sunday night running roughshod over the Cowboys? Okay. You got to fly across the country, play at 1 o'clock. Really good defense.
Great.
I think it's a good pick. All I do is take terrible teams.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the Washington Commanders.
They're not terrible.
They're in Atlanta.
Yep.
Atlanta's favored by 2.5.
I like that.
I think Washington is better. Haven't seen it from Ritter. And then you zag. Really bad showing against the Bears on national TV. You get the mini bye. I'll go Commanders +2.5 on Sunday.
All right, I'm going to take the Jags -4. Another flight. I'm just going to take everybody that has the worst flights. Back from London. Colts going to be with Minshew, obviously as capable as there is in a backup role. But I believe the Jags are starting to play their best football of the season with that win over Buffalo. Give me the Jags at home -4.
Okay. This is ticked down to 2.5. What if the Bengals are just who we thought they were and are good? I'll take Cincy at home, 2.5. Don't love the pick, especially because Seattle might be able to run the ball with Kenneth Walker and control the clock. But in the event Joe is back to being Joe and Cincy's back to being Cincy, 2.5's no problem at home.
All right. I'm going to go head-to-head against you in that game. I like Seattle.
Damn it.
I'm going to buy the half there. That's my buy of my half. That's 3. It'll be Seattle 3.
And you feel good about that, huh?
I do. I watched Seattle in person. I know they played the Giants, but I like that team a lot.
None taken. All right. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Okay. I'm going to tell you something that's appetizing that I'm not going to take. I'm not going to take the New England Patriots. I'm not going to go back to that well again. But it's a classic spot for Bill to beat up on Josh. It's a classic, hey, Vegas isn't as good as they looked Monday night against a perhaps not very good team.
I agree with that.
But Mac isn't playing well, and he has no weapons. Ramondre isn't having a good year, and the defense doesn't have Judon or Gonzalez. Like, I don't know how they win football games, even if it's a really good spot.
Okay.
So good spot, but I'm not taking it. I am going to go. I'm going to pick a jersey, Steve. For the first time, I'm going to pick a jersey. I'm going to pick the Creamsicles.
There you are. I figured that was going to come up.
Why not? They're getting 3 at home against Detroit. And
stinky.
Yeah, right?
Stinky. So stinky. Bucks got a good D, man.
They got a good D. Baker, confident.
I like that under, too.
Coming off a bye. I need to look at totals more, Steve. I don't know how to do them. I need to pay more attention to totals because Chris just picks totals, and now
he's the total god now.
And he's above 500. All right. Is that we hit 3? Is that 3?
3.
Macon.
Yes, Nolan. Hello.
Hello. Where do you want your half point?
Oh, for crying out loud!
Take
The Bucks right there, right? Get to 3.5. 4. Are we at 3.5 or 3 there, Nolan?
The half point would take you to 3.5.
Oh. You want that?
I do want that?
Yeah.
I'll take it there.
There you go. Nice.
Got it.
Steve, what's this talk about an Uber? We can't get a car service for Stanford Steve to get him to the airport?
No.
Come on, man. Come on.
I trade back and forth, Lyft, Uber,
Okay.
All right.
All right. We wish you the safest of travels. I'm indebted to you eternally for popping on here, and we'll do this again next week. I
Thank
love
you, buddy.
you dearly.
Stay strong. You're holding it down. I'm proud of you today. Solo Macon. That's a new man. That's a T-shirt.
And morning Macon. I sound even worse than I usually do. It's all up here.
That's
all up here in my head.
Tough to get used to. But
Enjoy Seattle. Thank you,
it.
man. Have fun. Talk to you next week.
Shout out to the branch.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.